Our guest tonight is Carita Miller. We just want to say thank you to her. She is a music supervisor among other many other talents, and has a just a really interesting background that I know that I've gotten a lot of interest in, especially with the A&R stuff that you've done. Of course, the music supervision, but yeah, we're just gonna kind of hop right in here. I wondered if you talk a little bit about your background, Karita, your different kind of work situations, and kind of what brought you to where you are now.
Okay, no problem. So currently, I am an independent music supervisor. I also do A&R and artist management for a local label here out based out of Detroit. I also work for a music video streaming service where I am the head of music video placement, and I also write for a magazine on a monthly basis, a music column, or maybe submit a playlist or something, anything music related for the magazine I would do on a monthly basis. To give you a little bit about my background, my mom has been in the entertainment industry all my life, so I kind of knew this is what I wanted to do. I did work at a local radio station. I went to Specs Howard School of Broadcast Arts, which is a broadcast school here based out of Michigan, and I graduated there 2003 and had a video production degree. Unfortunately, that's not really what I wanted to pursue. I really wanted to pursue the music side. I did not want to be on the radio. All they offered was radio and video production. So I figured I don't want to be on the radio, but I really want to pursue the music. How do I do this? I don't know. The thing was, I kind of paid to get an internship, pretty much. I had to be in school to get an internship. So I got an internship a while back at oh gosh, can't even remember the label. That's crazy. That's so sad. I can't even remember the label that I worked for. um, and then I worked for a while at a local radio station producing the midday show. I did that for about 8 months under an intern. And then I had a kid. Real life came. And then I was offered a paying job. So it was either intern with no pay, or I have a whole kid. I really need the money. So I unfortunately stepped away from my dream and honestly never looked back. COVID came, and a friend of mine, we were doing on Facebook, a Facebook Live, where I was introducing him to new artists. We called it Music Mondays. So I was introducing him to maybe not new artists, but artists that I felt that nobody knows about, that I felt people should know about. And so prior to all my friends, I would tell them, listen to this person, listen to that person. And then 2 years later, they're like, oh, I'm listening to, and I'm like, told you 2 years ago, I'm not listening to them anymore. So I was happy to have a platform that I could just, give these people and kind of introduce some people. And that turned into four different things. That led from one thing led to the music supervision job, and then the music editing job, and then the label job. A friend of mine, he does film. He came and he's like, would you like to do the soundtrack for my movie? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I know how to pick the music, but I don't exactly know what that entails. But I took the job on and I learned it. I kind of taught myself from different webinars, different books. Have a mentor, a really, really, really amazing mentor, Andy Ross. And just by doing the job, now I have 4 different movies under my belt and working on 3 more. So here I am today.
That's fantastic.
Just winging it. Yeah, it's kind of still something, honestly, I haven't had a chance to take it all in because everything comes so fast. I've interviewed with Sony Music Entertainment. I've interviewed with another music supervision company, and just yesterday I had another interview. So I think the third time's the charm. So we'll see what happens.
That's awesome. Don't forget about Alexandra Patsevas. I don't know if you know the name, but she's a big music supervisor, but she's running her own department at Netflix. And prior to Netflix, she ran a music supervision company called Chop Shop Music, and it was all women. It was all pioneers. So I mentioned Alexandra because she's got kind of like a girls club thing going on where she's like underrepresented people she wants to work with, and has really built like a just a crazy big team behind her of some just really remarkable women. So anytime I always say that the music supervisors, um, like just some of the most badass people I've met in music supervision are women. So I always like to just kind of connect other people with teams if they are looking for opportunities. She's someone that you may want to consider. Just since you mentioned interviewing, I just thought I would put that name out there for you.
Thank you for that information. Oddly enough, I typed her in, and she's the first person that popped up. So on LinkedIn. So,
Yeah, she did all the music for Grey's Anatomy. But yeah, just not to get too off topic, but just hey, since you're looking, she's someone that I think would want to hear what you have to say.
yes, and I am also really, really active in the guild. Actually, have a volunteer opportunity with them that I'm working now. So that's been giving me lots of different resources and connecting with a lot of different people as well. So it's been pretty great.
What's that experience been like? Because I think a lot of people don't really know what the we know what the Guild of Music Supervisors. I mean, to say we know what it is to say we know the name. Some of us are more familiar with them than others, but what's been your experience with working with the Guild and kind of what were you looking to kind of gain or experience from that?
Um, the game for me, I think I am only a friend at the moment, but I am wanting to become a member, and just to have that stamp for me, it just says something. I don't exactly know, but it just makes me feel like I'm more official if I'm a part of this guild, you know?
Hmm.
So that's really the goal is to become a member of the guild. But with the volunteering experience, it's been really great because, like I said, I have met some really great people, connected with some different people, and just like working on, I do social media for the guild. So it allows me a chance to find more music supervisors and just make that connection.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about like with your current roles, um, kind of your process, a little bit about your process with each role, and some of the kind of things that you would want artists to think about, who might be interested in wanting to know, how can they help, how can they get involved, things like that.
As far as music supervising, or you mean across the board?
Really across the board, I really love how versatile your background is, and I've gotten questions from our members about A&R, obviously music supervision, music videos. A lot of our artists will put out videos and things like that. So I think really across the board, if you don't mind, just talk about your various roles, a little bit about your process there, and then because I know especially with A&R. But like I do a lot of editing, and I would love to hear your perspective, with music videos and kind of your experience in that world. So across the board, if you don't mind.
As far as the music video placement, it's kind of a team effort. Like I will take a video and look at it for placement, and lots of times I'll be honest. There's not many times I'm gonna say no just because I want to help. If I can give you that platform and see what it can do to help you. So it's just a process where you would submit the video and we place it for about 4 minutes, and we provide you all the data, the analytics to let you know how the video did and how many times it was viewed, this, that, and the third. So that's it's pretty much straightforward. There really isn't a process to that. You just submit it, make the payment,
Mm,
and we'll put it.
got it.
Um, far as A&R, that's oh god. For me, as far as finding the talent, um, gosh, that's crazy. I don't even know if I have a real process for that either, because it's like many different ways. You can go to an open mic talent show, or nowadays you have social media. You see them all over the place.
Hmm.
Um, I'm just really looking for that one artist that is gonna make me like just jump. You know, nowadays it's kind of hard. I don't know. It's like from my experience thus far, and this is just dealing with what I've dealt with. Seems like the artist really wants you to work more than what they are working, and it can't be that way. I have to see that you're more driven, and that's what drives me. So, and the same thing with artist management. Those two kind of are one and the same. I just am looking for that one artist that's really serious about it. I don't expect for you to know the business, because that's not what your job is. Your job is to produce the music. But at the end of the day, me as your A&R, or even as your manager, I am gonna help you help you get educated, and make sure that you do know as far as everything about the business. Um, as far as music supervision, yes, I do have a process for that. I think honestly, and I can say this, that in these roles, since I have them all, I'm leaning more towards music supervision. Like, I've really grown a true passion and love for that one over all the others. And I hope that nobody's watching that is going to get offended by me saying that. I love my business partners. I love my artists. Guys, don't take it like that. But it's just the music supervision. It gives me that platform. Once again, like I said, it's so many artists. Like, if I tell somebody, "You have you ever heard of Alex Isley?" and they say who, and I'm like, "Duh, what do you mean who? Like, you got to get him." So it's kind of like that for me. I think that we're in this circle of music that we have to pick from, that they put out there for us, and outside of that circle are the gems. Always go outside, and I do everything I can to find the ones that have not really been given that platform. And I just like to hear them say, "Oh, my Shazam numbers are doing this," or "My song is doing this kind of number now," or that really makes me feel good to know that I'm kind of helping them get recognized a bit, because it is honestly said that the music supervisors are kind of the new A&Rs, because you can't actually break an artist. So I've grown a love for it. But as far as my process, I get the script, I read the script, I try as best as I can to imagine the movie and play songs based on the script. And then I start fishing for songs. I might put a post up, or I have a lot of music already that I kind of might sift back through, listen to see if I can find something that I already have been sent. Um, and then I'll get a visual, and that really helps me place. Make sure that I'm picking the right songs and the right vibe, and I'll get a visual. Um, Typically, I'll send out a request form. With the request form, I'm asking for all the information. That was something I had to learn, because you kind of have to chase people down, even independents. You really have to chase people down just to provide a signature. So I learned early on, after maybe my second movie, I was like, "Oh, okay, I get it now. I know what I need to do." So I just asked for everything up front, so that when it comes time for the licenses to be signed, all it is just a signature, and hopefully I can get that done with ease. But lots of times it's not easy. This is not the easiest process, but through all the frustrations, the ending result is the most rewarding thing. It's just the most rewarding thing to see it all come together, and to see it on this screen, and to know that I actually did it and helped that come together. So, um, That's pretty much the process. Like I get the scripts, then I get the visual, then I send out my request, and I go from there. And hopefully, all the songs that I've picked are actually fitting, and hopefully, there aren't more songs needed because, of course, then we do a spotting session where we figure out exactly what needs to go where. Most times, I'm pretty dead on, so I've been pretty proud of that. That it hasn't been many times that I probably need to go back and fill a song or change a song or might need to add some songs if anything, but that's pretty much the process.
Okay. Um, what are some of your do's and don'ts? Every supervisor, coordinator, department head has their personal lists. And I'm just really interested in, you've had plenty of artists email you, and you undoubtedly experienced things that make you roll your eyes. And kind of our whole aim is to, always be aware of those things, both in terms of industry standard kind of do's and don'ts, but also every supervisor kind of has their own, like, don't send me more than this many songs, or do send me more than the industry, average of 5 to 7. Some supervisors are like, hey, you can send me up to 15. But so I'm just curious, kind of your personal do's and don'ts when artists are and obviously we're talking, and we represent everyone here, but that's not to say that we don't want the information out there for everyone to be informed.
Indeed. Um, the one thing that I can say is if you submit a song, just respond back to the email. Like there's, I guess I'm saying this right now because there's this one song that I've been trying to place for the last two movies, and I can't get a response in the email. The guy won't respond back. Like, what are you doing? Like, hello, you sent me this great song, and now I can't place it. So that maybe provide additional contact information in the email because it was just a simple email with the MP3. And that's just something that I recently came up with since you asked the question. Um, but mainly, make sure that the music is always accessible. I noticed that sometimes I'll go back to an email and the link is expired or something. However, they send the link, it's expired, so I can't get to it. So
That's
I'm not.
that's
Fortunately, like I have so much music and I get sent so much music. Like once it's expired, I kind of throw it out. I don't like respond back. Unfortunately.
That is brilliant that you mentioned that. I love that you mentioned that. One of the things we drive home in a really big way with the consultancy is, make sure your link never expires. Make sure anybody with the link can access it. Make sure the songs are downloadable. Those are that is industry standard. Nothing worse than links that expire. Um, but to kind of go one step further, um, we kind of practice and preach, like, perfecting our metadata and making sure the PRO, BMI or ASCAP information is attached to the metadata of the MP3. Because this way, if you're on a tight deadline, you don't have to come back and say, hey, what is the Q sheet information? You've already got it. In a best case scenario, you ideally you've already got it. That's not always the case. Sometimes you do have to go back, but we try to eliminate kind of the unnecessary steps of, maybe let's try and do this in 2 to 3 emails instead of 5 or 6. If there's little tidbits of information that we can include, saying, hey, and like Eric, is really good when he signs off in his emails. He's got all this information of numerous contact info, but also, like, cut down stems are available, and waves are available, and instrumentals, and it's a lot of info, but it's really important and helpful information. So just wanted to kind of further what you were saying, because that's just kind of something we're really big on.
Yeah, that is. Oh, I hear echo. That was myself. I'm sorry. That actually is something that I send out with my request form too. I do know a lot of people, unfortunately, in this independent world, they don't exactly know about the metadata and how to attach it and this and that. So I do ask for all of that. If I like the song, as soon as I let you know that I want to use it, I'm asking for all of that right up front. So the hope that helps me in my process. And just make sure that you have your split information. Make sure that your beat is paid for and not leased so that you won't have to go back. Because I do have a couple of instances where, again, some really great songs, but they had a lease beat and they couldn't work it out with the producer. So it's like nothing I can do, unfortunately. Now it's just hopefully in the future you can get it worked out. Maybe I can place it in the future, but I strongly suggest that if you do lease the beat, be sure that you have all the paperwork, everything worked out. But I strongly suggest against lease beats, so you don't have to worry about that information at all. Make sure that you have publishing. I don't know why it's an experience for me that lots of people don't have publishing or even exactly know how to get it. So you have to be able to monetize it. It's not just about the exposure. You really want to monetize, right? So if you have your publishing, what are you really doing? That's like the huge. That's like my biggest where it really it's kind of heartbreaking to know that a lot of artists really don't know the business side of it. They just go and they make the music and that's it.
That's absolute, like, just perfection. Like, you really just kind of, that's the driving point, is that you have these amazing artists and then you try to talk to them about what does 100% all in mean, or what does one stop mean, or what's a split sheet. Is your song, are your songs registered with a PRO? And
Oh, their PRO and they'll ask, what is that?
yeah,
Like,
and you know real quick in like 5 or 6 questions they may not be well rounded when it comes to the business, which can unfortunately, um, as you know, Carita, you know, you get sent a song with an uncleared sample in it, and that's, we're all going home. There's going to be, um, and God forbid when those uncleared samples wind up in, live productions, and then people get sued and fired, and somebody notices one day, oh, that song is copywritten. So just kind of wanted to tack on to that.
I don't even take songs with samples, honestly.
Yeah,
It's too much of a risk.
yeah, absolutely.
I'm scared of
Yeah, and something you said kind of caught my attention, that these artists who sent you, um, sounds like there have been a couple instances. I'm not sure if it's from the same artist, but where they didn't, the splits weren't worked out. They leased their beats. Those people, I would have to say, are really lucky that you continue to take their emails, because I know supervisors who, if you waste too much of their time on clearance issues, they're not going to go 10 rounds going back and forth on emails. They're just going to not do business with you. So those people are really lucky that you continue to give them time. Their product must really speak loudly.
Yeah, and I just I'm very understanding to the fact that not everybody knows, unfortunately. So I mean, I will offer a consultation to assist them. I mean, if you would like to move forward, I can help you. So just to make sure that moving forward, you know exactly what to do. So I mean, I'm very understanding to the fact that just not everybody knows. So
I think that's fantastic, and I think that that's a rare gift when it comes to music supervisors and coordinators and people in like industry, that your willingness to take the time to coach. That's a rare gift. Most music supervisors either can't or won't, um, for any number of reasons, whether they're too busy or they don't want to deal with it. There are a lot of people who just don't want to deal with people who don't know what they're talking about and won't you be bothered to coach. So I just wanted to recognize you because um, I'd say that's a pretty rare gift.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. I think I mean it's not my position to hold the information, you know. If somebody needs it, if I have it, I'm willing to share it. I didn't get here by myself. So I had somebody to share with me, and I have my mentor. I can call him at any moment if I have any questions, and he's there for me. And that I am so thankful for. So I feel, why not pass it down, to somebody? I'm not with HBO, or I'm not with Netflix or anybody like that yet. So I'm still working my way up the ladder.
that's
So I feel
awesome.
like I have to pass my blessings back to get there.
That's attitude of gratitude will get you farther, than anything else. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get ahead by doing some crummy things to some people, but I still think that the attitude of gratitude will get you farther more consistently.
I
Um,
wouldn't make it. I wouldn't be able to do that. My mom, one, she's like, she's pretty well known through the industry, and I'm following her footsteps, and I have her name. Her name is Montez Carita. Mine is Carita Montez. There is no way I could step into this industry doing anything that I have no business doing, mainly because of her. I have her footsteps to follow in, and they're pretty big. So I it's just no way. She's like my industry police. Like there's no way that I could. People know me. Like it's no way that I could. I just can't. So I don't know.
I love it. I love it. It's sadly you're kind of lighting up the room because sadly not everyone holds that kind of philosophy and keeping family close and um, all of us in here have worked with various professionals. I think we've all kind of seen the difference between narcissists who are so far detached from family and reality um, that there's no way back, and then people who still kind of got that glow, that kind of attitude of gratitude. Sidney Poitier, who recently died, said he opened more doors in his career with please and thank you. So just wanted to recognize you, for kind of what is the saying, to the tune of a different drummer, drumming to a different beat, the beat of a different drummer. Kind of standing out, being different.
Thank
That's
you.
that's somewhat unusual for Hollywood.
Thank you. I'm not there yet. And even when I get there, I'll keep the same attitude for sure.
Or really just unusual for your industry, for anything in music licensing. It's not personal, but just some people just don't put forth the kind of energy that you're putting forth. Don't put time into, really putting it out there. So just want to say we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Does anyone have um, actually before I ask about questions, what kind of Karita your path? Um, I'm curious. Are there any? And it doesn't have to be with music licensing or supervision, but you've done quite a few things in the industry, and I'm curious. What are your biggest takeaways from your own personal experience? Like a few kind of key. Um, are there things there's always things we wish we hadn't done, but like what are your biggest takeaways, I guess, when you look back?
Mm, That's a good question. I I don't. I wonder if I've had that moment yet. To be honest with you, Um, because yes, I've been around the industry for a long time. I've done things, but remember, I had that long span where I didn't do anything, and now I'm just kind of getting back to it. This is just about going on. So this all started right before COVID.
Hmm.
Um, I think I'll have to relate it to music supervision because that's like my main thing right now,
Hmm.
and it has to go back to the business. Like I just want the artist. Like if you're serious, just learn the business. Like that is like the most important thing, and I think because I've come across it so many times, or I ask who the publisher is, and they'll tell me distro kid. So I'm like, oh god. Like, okay, I'm gonna send you a video, and then we'll reconvene tomorrow. Okay.
All
So
right.
I think right now, as it stands today, that's gonna be it. Like if you're serious and if you really want to do this on a serious level, it's not just about the music. That's probably about 5 to 10% of it. You've got to learn the other 90, and that's the business. You've got to know it.
I love it. How was the break for you? What are your when you look, because some people will tell you you got to work, work, work all the time, but I don't necessarily agree with that. I think breaks are can be even extended breaks can be incredibly restorative and bring focus. So how was that for you? Kind of, you know.
It was cool. Like I said, it allowed me time with my kids, which that was the main purpose. And I did a lot of different interesting jobs in the customer service field. So um, it was pretty cool. I have no complaints about the break at all, to be honest with you. But I'm nearing the end of that. So this one here is the last of the Mohicans. I'm ready to kick these people to the curb and let's step over to the other side of what I really want to do and follow my full passion. So, but the break was great. Like my kids are amazing. My son is now 18. He's getting ready to start college. My daughter is 11. She's keeping me very busy with her cheerleading and modeling. She's dancing and traveling and different things. So, the break has been totally amazing. No complaints.
Are there any tips for? We're going to take questions in just a moment, but are there any tips um, or tricks that you can share about time management?
No,
Always
no, no.
working, right?
Yes, yes. I don't sleep.
Yeah.
I get off of work. The good thing about it is that everything is done here at home. So I work my 9 to 5. Shoot, sometimes I might put a caller on hold and turn around and work on my MacBook for a moment. But there is no in this. What I no, I don't know how to manage time. You just gotta. I thought the calendars would do it for me, but that didn't do it. I don't even use those. It was a waste of money. So I don't know how to answer that one.
Always working, right? It never turns off.
Always working.
It
I literally don't sleep in
yeah.
real life. I don't few hours a night, but I find myself always up listening to music. Um, if I'm working on a movie, or even just educating myself, I'm always doing something musically inclined to keep my brain there. Always. Different webinars. There's a Grammy one-on-one music business course that I'm gonna take next month. I took it already. I'm gonna take it again. I just gotta keep my mind going. Keep
Absolutely.
on what I love. I'm really passionate about the music, so
All right.
I'm just making sure that I'm staying abreast of everything that's going on with it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Just we always say that music licensing isn't a sprint; it's a marathon, but it's
It's
also a sprint.
a marathon. It's
Um,
definitely a marathon to be ran for sure.
and then you know, the sprint is just the searches, that sometimes come in with no deadline, quick deadlines, no turnaround time really. So that's the sprint within the marathon, is just you don't know what you're going to be working on until you do, and then it's go time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, we want to turn the floor over to anyone who has questions. Pedro?
Oh, okay. I didn't know if I had to raise my hand or not.
I love it.
Hi, Carita. First of all, I just want to say it is so cool. I'm actually from Michigan too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm from like so I spent a lot of time in Detroit when I lived there. I grew up there, and I'm like, you're giving me such Michigan energy. I was like, yes.
Nice.
Yes. So my question. So I'm a singer-songwriter, pop artist, hip hop. And my question is, sorry boys, what is your advice for like a young woman in the industry? Because it's such a unique experience, and I can only imagine you've dealt with a lot of that.
Yeah, as a woman, there's a lot of pressures that we have. You have to stay headstrong, for one. Make sure that you stay about your business, always, no matter what, always about the business. Try not to mix business with pleasure. You know what I mean? That really doesn't work out very well lots of times. From just what I hear, I haven't done it. I don't plan to do it. So, and I mean, right now, the women in the industry, we're running this. So, if I were you, I would just follow your passion and do not give up no matter what. There's going to be some roadblocks, but you get over those roadblocks and you keep it going. That's all you want to do, no matter what. Just keep it going. You're going to get some no's. There are going to be some closed doors. But guess what? That next door is going to open for you. You're going to walk straight through it. So you just make sure you keep that positive energy and follow your dreams.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Sure. And go blue.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Are there any other questions?
Yeah, I actually have a lot of questions, but they should all be really simple. I'll just ask them one at a time, though, so not to overload. First of all, props for it. It takes a lot of swagger to pull off the lady with the golden ear. Like the decision to sort of present yourself like that, that's not for the faint of heart. So just wanted to sort of tip of the hat, to you on that. I'm curious, are there stuff, that wasn't really a question. Is there stuff like genre-wise or vibe-wise or 90s, 80s, 2000s, 1950s? Is there stuff you find yourself continually coming back to, like stuff you're looking for more often than other things, or is it really all over the map?
It seems like that's a good question. It seems like it's mostly R&B, hip hop, updated. I did have one movie that I'm working on currently that's requiring some older styles, which has not been the easiest thing to do, and it's bad because you don't find artists that make the sounds, the 70s and 80s sounds anymore.
Yeah.
So it's really, really hard. It's been a challenge for me. I can't wait to see how this one turns out, honestly. But it seems like mostly the movies that I'm working on, they're always looking for hip hop, R&B.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't wait to be able to do something different, though. I'd like to do some different stuff, to be honest. But I do have one movie that I'm doing now that I do feel like I need a pop type song.
Yeah.
So.
Any interest or experience placing covers in movies, or are you mostly doing original stuff?
Original stuff or already released songs.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. And to circle back to a question that Jesse sort of asked, but then I think we sort of moved past it. when people are sending you music, do you have a preference? Do you like getting 3 to 5 songs? Do you like getting 20? Does it matter? Are there any like things not to do when emailing Carita Miller, or like any cardinal sins?
Honestly, no. I don't. You can send me your entire catalog. I may not listen to the entire song of every song, but I do typically skip through and at least listen to the first verse and the chorus of every song because you never know what's there. So, and I don't want people to miss out. So I listen every song and every email. I never skip over it. And honestly, I don't have any do's or don'ts, besides just making sure that the link is always accessible to me and that you are responding to the email. And that's it. Someone send it's the website. They have an app. Disco is really, really good.
Yeah.
And to circle back to the name, I actually did not give myself that name. It was given to me by a friend, the guy who I was doing the music Mondays with, and he started calling me the lady with the golden ear, and I'm like, oh, I like that. I like that a lot, and it just stuck with me. So that's how I got the name, actually.
Awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Well, here's some bad feedback. I don't know if that was like on my end or if you guys are hearing it, but.
So, learn the business. I love that. I love what you said. And it's important to take note that Carita might be down with you sending her everything, but just be careful doing that with other supervisors. Again, everyone is different, and it's incredibly important to get that little nugget correct.
Yes.
Because you can burn some bridges very quickly if you send someone too much and they were not okay with it. So that is where it's advantageous to develop relationships with coordinators and supervisors, is you get a feel for what they personally like and what will not waste their time. Absolutely. So any other questions, folks? All right.
Carita, I had a question for you as well.
Sure.
Working with a lot of these guys too, some of the questions that come up frequently for me is they want to know when would be usually the best time for them to submit a song during the production of a film or a show.
Typically, as soon as I get a feel for what I apologize. When I get the synopsis, I'll typically put it out there and start requesting for music to be sent. But honestly, you can send music at any given moment because you never know. It's always good for me, honestly, to just have it there. I like being able to go back through the music that I've already been sent. So I don't mind the random emails, even when I'm not working on a movie. There hasn't been a moment for that yet. But if there comes a moment that I'm not working on a movie, I wouldn't mind still taking the submission just to have it there.
Do you prefer when people actually say what kind of project that they'd like their music to go into, or do you kind of just like to have it just for a free-for-all, just in case you ever want to come back to it?
I've never had that happen, but I prefer to have it just for a free-for-all, just to see, where I might be able to find placement for it.
Perfect.
Carita, I was discussing this with Cameron the other day. I'm curious, and this is different for every supervisor, but we talk a lot about tagging. So at the very, very bottom of your email, throw in a handful, maybe 10 like tags. So if your song sounds like Evanescence, throw in, Evanescence, powerful, gothic. And so my question is, when you talk about wanting to have music as a free-for-all, you may not be downloading everything all the time as you get it, but the point of the whole Evanescence is maybe you can't remember what the name of the artist is, but you remembered they mentioned Evanescence in the body of their email. So this way, 6 months later, you can go in your inbox and be like, what was that artist's name? I can't remember. Oh, wait, but they mentioned whatever keyword, whatever tag word in their email. So you can just do a search in your inbox for that word and you'll come right. So I'm just curious if you're using that kind of, uh, if you use those reference tools to help you come back to a song, or maybe you are downloading everything as you get it into like a save for later folder. Just kind of curious, kind of what your process is there.
You know what? You actually just gave me a good idea. But I don't sometimes I do download it, I guess, huh? And I do have a folder on my iTunes, or is it called iTunes? Apple Music. And it's just called Music Submissions, and I have them all there. But mainly when I listen to the email, if there are songs there that I like, I just star it. I highlight it. So there's all these starred items, and I'll just go back through those. So, but I like what you said. I think the tagging thing is a good idea. I hadn't thought about that. I hadn't thought about how to actually simplify that process as opposed to just using the starred emails.
I just the way yeah, I mean it's the way I learned, just over an accumulation over years working as a sync agent, just that multiple contact information, email and phone embedded in the metadata in every song, hopefully the PR information, but also, you know, um, those tags. And I don't do it with every email, I should, but we really try to put into practice that the more that an artist can do, so that when that supervisor has maybe forgotten them or only heard that one song that one time 6 months ago, you can easily kind of come back to it, whether you start it or whether you did a search for, I need, um, oh, that, Petra sent me that Eminem cover, Lose Yourself, that she just cut, and you maybe didn't remember Petra's name, but you remembered that she mentioned an Eminem cover, and so just wanted to put that out there, just kind of touching on all the bases. Um,
Jesse, what's brilliant about that, beyond that, is we may send something to a music supervisor and they may not ever open the email, but then if they search their email for a keyword that's in the email that they didn't read, then it might come back a week or a month or a year later. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put Evanescence in all of my emails from now on.
I'm definitely gonna do that tag thing, like suggest.
Yeah, it's well, thank you. Just anything, to help. Our motto is, be of service, be helpful, try to be available at a moment's notice when possible. In my world, that's not really a luxury. I don't have the luxury of saying wait 4 hours for the song, but that's kind of the motto. Is, I mean, you got 2 kids, you can't drop everything all the time, but it's essentially what we always do anyway. Maybe not as often as we'd like, but consistency is the key. Like you said, do something every day, even if it's only one thing, even if it's just do something musically, every day. I like what you said, and I like what you, really. I like to hear supervisors say, learn the business, learn what a PRO is, learn how to register your songs, metadata, tags in the emails, tags at the bottom of the comments in the metadata. We always say that music licensing is like buying lottery tickets. It's like rolling the dice. The more you do it, the more you win, and the only way you win is if you take the leap. I wonder if you'd mind, and we're gonna kind of wrap it up here in just a few minutes. One thing I find that I think is a difficult point to drive home in music supervision is the sheer amount of time that it takes to get where maybe someone like yourself is at. Like the time that you put in?
Man, like lots and lots. I don't, man, it's unbelievable. I find myself buried. I never leave home, guys. Like, it's so crazy. I was just telling myself, I really need to probably get from under this and just leave out sometimes, but I can't find him. I just can't. I'm so honed into what I'm doing and I'm loving it so much that I just want to work on my movies all the time. And I just wanna find the music and I just want to educate myself. I just want to do music. That's it. I don't want to go outside. I don't want to play. I just want to do music. That's it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It's crazy. I don't know what the heck, but I'm just buried under music and whatever I can do to make myself better at this. And maybe one day I'll be living in LA doing this on a larger scale. That's in my head. I'm already in LA. I go there every single day. It's like my favorite place. Like I just, oh God, I just feel it. Like I just feel it. I just need to be there. So I just can't not work until I really get to where I really want to be. So I've already wasted time. I took a break.
Yeah.
So like, no more breaks. It's time to go to work now.
Absolutely. I really loved everything you said, and I just wanted to, recognize you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I love that you're a mom. I love that, you don't hear people. There are, a million, interviews with, music supervisors, but you don't always hear them talk about breaks and children and being a mom. And so I think that's really helpful.
In the forefront of everything. My kids rule my life, unfortunately. They rule my life. They only give me time to do this. Thank God they're at an age now where they understand that mommy wants to finish pursuing her dream now. So getting them on the road to theirs, and now it's my turn as well. So we're all gonna do this together now.
That's fantastic. Does anyone have any last questions before we kind of hop off? And real quick, I'm trying to pull up the chat here. It's not working. But does anyone have any last minute questions before we kind of wrap things up?
I have one more question, Carita.
Okay.
So I have a stack of books recommended to me and also that I just need to get through. Do you have any book from just knowing that you're educating yourself all the time that you would highly recommend yourself?
Yes. One is called Where's My Music? Hey, That's My Music. And then there's another one. I tried to look for my books just earlier today. I feel lost because I don't know where they are, and that's not like me. But Hey, That's My Music, and then the other one is called. Sorry, guys, just a second. I just pulled this up earlier today. Music Supervision: The Complete Guide to Selecting Music for Movies, TV, Games, and New Media. I can kind of. I found both of those on Amazon. This is the one book. If you can see that.
Oh, I do have that one.
Did you guys see it?
That's awesome.
Yep, that's the one book. That was the very first book I read. And then the other one is Hey, Where's My Music? Or that's my music. Hey, that's my music. I keep saying that. Here it is, right here. I love this book. I really, really like this one.
Awesome.
This one gives you the breakdown of all the contracts and.
Hey, that's my music. Okay.
Yeah, this one is like really, really, really good. I like it a lot. I often find myself referencing that book. Like if I think I've forgotten something, or I just want to make sure I'm doing it right, I always go back to the book. If I don't call my mentor first, I try not to call him too much.
Are we talking about Andy? Is that who you're talking about, Carita?
Andy Ross.
Yeah, always have an exit.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah.
He's so amazing.
Yeah, I've had a few emails with him. He's always been good, taking time to chat.
Yeah, he reached out to me on LinkedIn, and I'm like, you want to talk to me? Like, wait, you really want to have a conversation with me? Wow, you're the superstar here. So yeah, we had a conversation, and that one thing led to another. So yeah, now he's my mentor.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. And unless anyone has anything that they would like to add, we're going to call it a night and say thank you to Carita.
No problem. It's my total pleasure being here, guys. This is something that I'm totally uncomfortable with, but I did it. I made it through.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for extending an olive branch, stepping out on a limb, and other leafy metaphors. We just really appreciate your time, and we'll be chatting. And I just messaged you on LinkedIn. I just if there's anything I can ever do to help, we are collectively in your corner. If you need something made for a project, and you have enough time to have something made, we can probably got your back. But yeah, we're here for you, and now this door is always open to you. And if there's anything we can do, we're here.
Thank you, guys. I love it. Thank you for extending that olive branch as well. And I'm going to keep you in. I'm going to get to you one day, one way or another. I'm going to do it. So don't worry about it. I promise.
And you're going to get where you're trying to go one way or another. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to get to know you before you got where you wanted to get to ultimately.
Absolutely. And I promise that when I get there, I won't act Hollywood. I'm still going to be the same, okay? I promise.
That's awesome. Well, we appreciate your time, and you have a wonderful night.
All right. You guys do the same. And thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Bye.